Hey, Tony guys here popping in. Now y'all gotta forgive me, it's a little dark because the sun hasn't came up yet, and I'm headed to the barbershop. But some of y'all was asking me about I believe her name is Tina Lawson and Richard Lawson divorce. And I first seen this on a post from a page where they were talking about the documentary, the show on OWN being a curse. And they were showing all of the couples that had went on that documentary that had ended in a divorce, which I don't think the show is a curse. I think that's just natural and normal if you feature a bunch of a bunch of couples, just based on statistics, that a good amount of them gonna end in divorce. But it does speak to when we go public and start talking about our relationship, it does highlight and show our flaws. And when our flaws are put on Front Street, it can create a rift that is hard to heal from, because now you are embarrassed in front of the whole world, not just your partner. And so now it's not a thing between you and your partner, it's a thing between you, your partner, and a bunch of strangers. So it plays a part, it plays a role in it. Now, I'm not hiding from the public. I'm online and I'm active online, and that documentary, Black Love, has never reached out to me for Cherie and I to come on the show. And I'm not sure why that is. It could be a situation where they work with OWN and I could be blacklisted at OWN, or it could be they got their concept from my documentary, Where Is He Already, that I went around the country interviewing singles, pretty much like black singles. So it's one of those two reasons why they haven't reached out. But when I looked into that divorce and people showed that interview, for one, the interview, and here's some lessons on this. In the interview, Tina, she seemed it was almost one of them situations where behind closed doors, she was getting silenced and she was getting outwitted, outsmarted, and he was trying to assert himself behind closed doors, and he was trying to be a man behind closed doors. And so when they got in front of the world, she was able to get stuff off her chest, and she was able to say what she really felt and tell him how she felt in public for everybody to see, and knowing he couldn't say anything about it because the whole world would see it. So she was able to get that off. And that's what that said to me. That's what that showed me, because I've seen that over and over again. And that's what happens a lot of times when we as men want to be know-it-alls, and we want to have that dominance or that control in a relationship. That's when a woman go and get off her chest when it's in front of people, because that's built-in protection. Because that type of man doesn't want to look bad in front of anybody, so he'll pipe down and won't say too much or do too much in front of anybody, but behind closed doors will be a handful. Now, the other thing about that, what you have to realize is this is to the individuals who are 50 and up. One of the things you have to know and realize is that a man who is over 50 or in his, even 40s may very well be set in his ways. He may be so set in his ways that it's hard for him to change. It's hard for him to see your way and to do something different. And I believe that's one of the things and one of the reasons why that situation did not work. The other thing is when you are a woman of status, when you make money, so let's say you make 6 figures, or you got 6 figures coming your way, or you got millions coming your way. Not that you Beyonce mama, so this ain't about Tina Lawson and the man. This is the lessons from it for everyday people. So if this apply to a woman in a small town. If you're a woman in a small town and you hit the lotto, or you have a job that pays 70,000 plus, and you're in a small town. Now in that town, you are the Tina Lawson in that town. If you are a woman and you have a status because of a family member, let's say your son, or your, is my lights on? Let's say your son or your daughter, let's say your son goes to the NFL. If your son goes to the NFL, then you now have status. And this status will make a man want you. And that's what Miss Tina Lawson didn't understand. If you are in a position of status and money and you single, there's a personality situation that needs to be worked out. There's something off in your personality that you need to work on, because having money and status is attractive to a man. So when she and him first got together, I knew he was getting with her to get into Beyonce pockets. I knew he wasn't finna change nothing about his life, and the fact that he was that age and single was already a red flag. And so that's what women who are, you're of age, to meet a man that age that's single, that's already a red flag that you got to be aware of, that it's a reason why he's single. It's a reason why he's single. Just like it might be a reason why the woman is single, and it could be her why she's single. It could be her attitude why she's single. The same thing with that man. Now you're gonna have times where the woman is single because she haven't met a man on her level, meaning a man that's mature and ready. And then it's gonna be times where it's not really gonna be times where a man hasn't met a woman that's on his level. It's more so the man is unattractive or quirky or awkward to women, and it's just not working for him. Or the man likes men, or the man is extremely addicted to pornography or something of that nature. Now, I seen a post where they were talking about is possibly she leaving him because of his porn addiction. And it was showing his Twitter where he was liking a bunch of pornographic videos. Now, the pictures I seen, it didn't have it didn't look like a verified account. I don't know if it was, but, and maybe he didn't have a verified account, or maybe it was verified, I just didn't see the blue check. But that don't really mean a lot with him liking them posts, because he is older. So he's before the internet. So there was no internet when he was a teenager and things of that nature. So he just don't know how the phone worked. But I see those same posts that he see on Twitter sometimes. And when I see it, I look at the post too, because you're a human being. You see somebody naked on your timeline, you go to looking like, well, what is this? And so every single man who see that post look at them posts, and they hit like in their head. Now, I've never, outside of the internet and in real life, I've never indulged in pornography. So to me, it looked disgusting, because unfortunately, private parts are not cute. So I don't think my private part is cute. I don't think a woman's private part is cute. I think that they are useful, and you're supposed to do what God intended you to do with them. But I don't get pleasure out of looking at private parts. And some people are just so infatuated or whatever by it. But it's a young lady who, she did something to make herself, you know, what they call squirt. And it was trending, you know, something. And I'm scrolling down the timeline, and a young lady, she said something about, when such and such did that, the thing was yellow or something, or she need to eat, drink more water. And then people like, what you talking about? She like, here go the video. So I seen that. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because sometimes women are trapped in a fantasy world. Like, sometimes women don't understand the men at all, or the mind of men. So him being on Twitter liking this stuff, it just shows his age. But every man who see that stuff is gonna sit there and watch it and like it. Your everyday average man, a man who is working in self-development, and he working on himself, and he trying to overcome something in his life, whatever it may be. He trying to get his kids back, or he is a serious minister of the cloth. Like he really tapped in with the Lord. He not no money hungry, just doing it for clout and money pastor, but he really love the Lord, and he trying to impact lives. Now, those are exceptions to the rule. But your everyday man that majority of the women watching this video is gonna meet, don't mean he a bad man. It mean he's a man. He gonna see that and he gonna like it. He just might have enough knowledge not to hit the heart on the computer, because he knows that you could see it. But I just learned that a couple years ago, that when you like certain stuff, that it show up on your page, which is very stupid of Twitter to do, because now you showing the mind of somebody, because somebody could see something, and it could be, let's say they went and they voted for Trump. Well, they might be a black person and ain't supposed to be liking Trump, and they go and they like his tweet because they felt like he was speaking truth, and they didn't know that them likes finna show up. Nah, they outed. So that was kind of that wasn't good of Twitter to take and do that, because people can't really like what they want to like. And that's how like the athletes get caught up. Somebody will say something and say, oh, I want to see such and such play for this team, and the athlete will like it, just showing that person like, hey, all right, I see that shout out. And then next thing you know, it's headline news, such and such liked the tweet that said this. And it's really because he probably didn't know that the likes show up on his page, because it ain't like they released the thing or sent everybody a DM that say, hey, anything you like, it's on your profile. So not everybody knows that, and gotta find out the hard way, like the brother, if that was his page. Now the other thing is, if it wasn't a verified account, because you gotta go through steps to get verified before they started selling it. If it wasn't a verified account, then we can't actually say that it was his account, because I know a bunch of guys who they run parody accounts. So if a celebrity doesn't have a Twitter, they start a Twitter in the celebrity name, and they do whatever. They post quotes, and they like stuff, and they do all this different type of stuff, because they also could sign up on the sites where you get to post advertisements and get paid. So that's how they make money. So I have to look back at a post and see if that was a verified account, because if not, he could say it wasn't his, and it may not be his. But now if Tina know that it was his page, because she know what his Instagram is, even if it ain't verified, then that's a different case. So what you have to realize is, this is really for the elders. It's really for the 50 and up community to know that, for one, don't ever make a habit of debasing and disrespecting your partner in public. Because when Tina did that, and the way she was talking, and the way she was kind of dismissing him, and kind of, you know, pointing out his flaws, and that he wasn't necessarily everything she wanted, but he was enough, it's like, oh, that wasn't necessary. And once a man lose respect, and if you'll do that to a man in public, it could be assumed at some point you're gonna do it in private. And even if he had been in the wrong, and that's why he did that, but on the flip side, he could have not been in the wrong. And so, and she just, that's how she moved, because of her name, because of her money. And that's the same thing with what I'm saying is, if a woman, if you have money, meaning where you are, you earn an amount that is seen as your success. So you earn 70K in this small city. In a big city, you earning 200K, 150, 200, 250. When you hit to what is seen as a massive success, like a real success, a hands down, bona fide success financially, as a woman, you can't let that make you feel like you better than this man, you bigger than this man, you tougher than this man. You can't let that make you feel like you can put this man in his place, so to speak, and like sun him. Because when a man feel disrespected, you done lost it all, and he gonna show you another side of him. And if he feel disrespected, if he feels sunned, then he's gonna turn to pornography. He's gonna turn to other women that he could pay for sex. And so that's a lesson on the woman's side of things. The other lesson for a woman who, let's say you not doing all that, you got enough sense not to do that. What you have to realize and understand is that a man who is over the age of 45 is going to be set in his ways. So what you see is what you get. If this man ain't who you want him to be at that age, you can't settle, because he ain't changing. 9.9 out of 10 times. So you got to understand that. This ain't even 9 out of 10 times. I say 9.9 out of 10 times, he's not changing. So you got to understand that. For the men, you have to realize that when you with a strong woman, when you with a woman who got whatever, money, status, or even confidence, just confidence alone, that woman not gonna put up with no crap. So you want to be in the pornography and you want to do all that, being all the nonsense, and you want to put your foot down, and you think that means controlling her and dominating her and talking to her like a child, you're going to get left. You're going to get left. The other thing about this too is when somebody has representation. So meaning the same way I was talking about how the pastor, the mega pastor daughter, got with a man who was married with 3 kids, and he divorced his wife and 3 kids to be with her. The same way I was talking about that, and how the pastor should have stepped in and said, hold on, we ain't doing this now. We ain't taking no man from his wife and his kids now. We not finna all of a sudden pretend that this man have been with this woman for 12 years and now here you pop up and you all of a sudden his soulmate. No, that ain't what we doing. No, that ain't what we doing. Yeah, find you somebody else. Find you somebody who is single and unattached just like you. Not somebody who got to go get a divorce to be with you. So just how the mega pastor should have stepped in with his daughter and said that right there, is the same way if somebody's child is like me. Me being in the public eye, my mama meet all these men. She meet a lot of men on Facebook. A lot of these men her age. And she come to me by each one of them, and I have to tell her like, no, he a bum. No, he this. No, he that. And then some of them, I just get tired of hearing about these different men. I just be like, all right, mama, go ahead. Just give it a shot. And if he show you any little red flags, he do anything, then go on, move on. Go on about your business. Move on with your life. And we have to have that conversation. And I will make my mama break up with a man if he ain't right for her. Meaning, she'll lose all my support. I have to pull all my support, and he gonna have to replace me. And guess what? Guess what? It ain't really gonna be no man that's gonna wanna be with my mama at this stage of life that's gonna replace $3,000+ a month. So that's one thing you have to realize about individuals that's in the spotlight, individuals that got a whole lot to lose. So if some stuff went going on with this man, Lawson, and Tina went to talking to Beyonce probably put that foot down. Said, mama, you don't need no man, for one. You already got enough money for the rest of your life. You don't need no man. 2, anything that fool do, it's gonna come out, it's gonna look bad on me. Our name gonna get ran through the dirt. So you need to be the one to cut this early and get on up out of there. And so, now what is this? What am I looking at? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's a man jogging down the sidewalk, but running like this. Sweating like he working out, but he got on flip-flops. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Don't look like he on drugs. It just look like he literally is working out in flip-flops, but he running like, I don't know what that run is. Like he finna go to the feminine Olympics. Man, Y'all forgive me, because it's 6:49 in the morning. And he got AirPods, so he ain't broke. Look like Gucci slides. That just throwed me off. My goodness. So that's another thing you have to realize and understand with these here situations is, if you get with somebody who they got a tie to somebody that's in position, that's in power, it could be they tied to the biggest pastor, they tied to the pro athlete from the city, they tied to somebody with a name. Your relationship ain't just between you and that person. Your relationship between you, them, and the brand or the name of who they attached to. Whether it's their mother, their father, their brother, their sister, they son, their daughter, their cousin. It's between y'all three. So it ain't, don't just think y'all problems gonna be behind closed doors and y'all gonna be able to just work through them problems. No. Your problem gonna be this other person's business too. Because that's something that we think about in those type of situations. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you are a woman and you 50 plus and you got money or you got status, meaning your job title, or you connected to somebody who has status, first and foremost, what I'm gonna tell you is, very rarely is this man liking you gonna be about you. Because if it's about you, then these same men would have wanted you at 40, would have wanted you at 35. So when you hit an age, and it could be 35, it could be 40, it could be 50, and you meet somebody and they all of a sudden want to be with you, but you attached to money or status or power, you have to tread lightly. Because it could be about you. He could actually like you, but it's gonna be hard to tell. You're gonna need some consultation on that. You're gonna need to talk to somebody on the outside looking in. And so here's the thing. Men get to, because men are seen as providers, and not even because men are seen as providers, because men are more scarce, men get to date up, men get to marry up. So because a man is more scarce today, and it's becoming like the Hunger Games for women to find a husband, a man who is a 6 can get a woman who's a 9, whether you talking looks or whether you talking social status. So Beyonce mama is a decent looking woman. She's a pretty woman. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So because she may not have hands down, like across the board, meaning because every man may not look at her and say she's beautiful, it means that some men is gonna think she's beautiful, to some men gonna think she average. Some men, and this just the reality of this, so stay out your feelings and don't be sensitive on these here videos, because I got to get it to you blood raw. So when a man like I think his name Richard Lawson, I can't judge him. I don't know how he look as a man, but based on men that I have seen that women say are fine or handsome or good looking, and to me they look a mess. So that let me know, for one, I can't judge a man. But when I look at Richard, I don't see any, I think his name Richard, I don't see any like abnormal features. Like, it doesn't look like he has an abnormal face or eyes or nose or lips or anything. And I doubt that a woman like Tina is gonna be with a man who looked like the back of a 57 Buick or the bottom of a shoe. So I'm assuming that he's a handsome man. So if he is a handsome man, I don't know. Y'all let me know. If he's a handsome man, that means if he, let's say he's a 7 or an 8, that means he qualified for a 10. And so when he get with a woman who is a 7 on some men's scale, a 5 on some men's scale, a 6 on some men's scale, or 8 on some men's scale, or 10 on some men's scale, like there are certain standards of beauty because of societal constructs to where a person gonna be a 10 to everybody. There's some people they're gonna be a 10 to everybody. Some people they're gonna be a 9 to everybody. And then there's certain looks to where we're gonna be a 5 to somebody and we're gonna be a 10 to somebody. That's where the saying beauty is in the eye of the beholder comes from. When you have a look that it's not just universally attractive. And so you always have to be reminded of looks compatibility. So Richard and Tina, they looks compatible, but he could get a woman that is universally beautiful. And to the ladies, y'all calm down, because y'all be, oh, Tina is universally, you're not a man. You're not a man. You're a woman. She don't want you. You can't marry her. She ain't looking for you. So that it don't count. So please, y'all, leave me alone with all that. Trying to be politically correct. I'm just telling you the whole honest truth now. And so let me tell you. So like maybe like trying to think of somebody out there. Like even with Naomi Campbell, supermodel, Cindy Crawford, they're not universally beautiful. But it's certain looks. It could be almost like a Nia Long, or like remember Diddy ex Cassie, or like Sanaa Lathan. It's certain looks that are ambiguous, meaning whites, blacks, Hispanics, Asians could all see themselves a little bit inside of this look, and so they have an attraction to that look if that look falls inside of the programming that they've received of what beauty is. So that's what you got to realize and understand. So you have to make sure when you are a man or a woman, when you are of status, that the person that is showing interest in you looks compatible with you. And now that wasn't so much the case with Richard and Tina, but when I first seen it, I said to myself, okay, this man is tall, look like he tall. His features are intact. He well dressed. He's successful. I think he's an actor or something. He can get a woman that's of his age. He could get a woman that is 30. He could get a woman that's 35. He could get a woman that has a 6-pack of abs. Like, just based on who he is and what he bringing to the table, he don't have to be with a woman that has a everyday healthy body. Meaning, Miss Tina ain't have no set of abs. She look good, but he could get a woman that is built like she just stepped out of a magazine, because that's the unfortunate advantage that men have in this dating scene. So when I first seen that, I said to myself, and y'all forgive me, but this how I said to myself, it ain't gonna last. Because he with her for the wrong reasons. He getting with her for the money. He getting with her for the status. What you have to realize is, one thing a man love more than sex is money. Now, what he probably come to find out is that Beyonce wasn't giving them, Beyonce and Jay-Z wasn't giving Tina no money for him. Cause like, listen, a man could be into pornography, he could be a cheater. If that money right, he finna do right. You hear me? He finna do right. But he obviously ain't see enough money to make him change his ways. And Tina said she had enough. She through with it. He ain't see enough money to make him change his ways. And there's some men that they got it so bad that money ain't gonna change their ways. Because even with the same thing with Wendy Williams, and this is what I want y'all to understand, and I want y'all to realize this now, and this could be flipped now, and this is what I mean too with, like, it don't really apply to like Lil Wayne. Like, he look different now, but Lil Wayne as Lil Wayne when he first came out, with his normal skin color, his normal face, his normal braids, he was 14 years old. His look would be acceptable to most women. And then I've talked to women who have dated him, and they say he's the most amazing person. Like, the nicest, kindest, best conversation. They said he is the best lover. So that's how Lil Wayne, although he looked interesting today, with the color of his hair and, you know, the tattoos and all of that, he still get women of all types or whatever, because he also is said to be a great person, like in that realm. And that's how women was signing up to have his child after they seen he already had children with other women. They still was signing up to be a baby mama. And so, but what you have to understand is, when you come into money or status, you got to really make sure that you are looks compatible with the person you dealing with. You got to make sure y'all looks compatible, because it's gonna I'm trying to wonder what time I'm supposed to get a haircut today. Now as I was starting to hit me. Got to make sure you looks compatible, because that right there is that's an issue. And that's why it's really good to not flaunt status or flaunt money when you trying to meet somebody, so that you know that it's authentic and organic and it's real. And so, although on a normal scale, Richard and Tina were looks compatible, because of the dating scene and because of his, you know, success or whatever, perceived success, he could have had pretty much any woman. Even he could have got younger women, because they would see him as security. A lot of younger women want an older man because they think he's gonna be more mature. That is another lesson, is don't think that a man's age makes him more mature and secure. So now this divorce has shown us that a man being over 50 don't mean he is mature and secure. So, because if he was, they wouldn't be going through no divorce if she filing for divorce. And now I want you to understand that a man who, just because a man looks handsome and nice or put together, does not mean he's not toxic. And a lot of men who are handsome and nice and put together are toxic, because they used to getting their way. They used to being Charles in charge. They used to being that guy. So what you have to realize is those men are going to be controlling, gonna be selfish, gonna do a lot of different things that's gonna break a woman down, break a woman down, break a woman down. And if that woman does not need that man for anything other than love, she gonna leave. It's a lot of cases where a woman want to leave, but she need that man for money. She need that man to be the father in the home for the kids, and the man is a great father. And the kids love the man, but he's not a great husband. And so, therefore, if you notice, Tina don't need Richard for kids, to raise her kids. She don't need Richard for money. So she has no need for this man other than love and respect and honor, companionship. So if he can't do that right, he gonna get left. And that's what we seeing here. But what you have to realize is a man who is wired and built like Richard, when I say built, I don't mean body, but I mean when you see a man who is arrogant, these men not gonna change. You have to be very humble. And so when she outed him and said he ain't everything I want, but he got enough of it, and the way he looked at her, the way a humble man would have been like, oh wow, whoa, okay, all right, well thank you, appreciate that. But he looked at her the way Ike looked at Tina in their interview. Because Tina did Ike the same way. That, is her name Tina too? I'm confusing me. Is it her name Tina Lawson? Tina Turner did Ike the same way. And we all know Ike used to beat on Tina. But when Tina got on that interview, I just watched it the other day, I seen one, she outed Ike. Well, Ike liked to party. Ike liked to do this. Ike was like, he like grabbed her hand, or he moved her hand off of him. Like he was showing signs of, and I'm gonna tell you also, Ike looked like he liked men to me. Now to be honest, Ike looked like he liked to party with the men. You hear me? Just the way he was sitting and the way he was kind of moving. And so a man like that also battling internal demons. And so Tina was getting hands put on her for other reasons. But that's how this here Lawson, what's his name? Is his name Johnny Lawson? Y'all gotta forgive him because the name's slipping me. That's how he was looking at Tina. He was looking at her like, oh really? Like he'll put hands on her. See, listen, a man know now, men know men. That one thing about it, men know men. So I know that type of man right there is conniving, controlling, manipulating, arrogant, selfish, all of that right there. Because it gotta be all of that for a woman of Tina age to divorce him. Because she closer to the grave than she is to the birth canal. So when you closer to the grave than you is to the birth canal, you trying to settle into life. You want to settle into life, and you want to have your golden years. You want to ride into the sunset. That's your golden years. You in the sunset. You ride into the sunset in your golden years. That's what you want. You don't want to be going through no divorce at 60 years old or however old, 55. You don't want to be going through no divorce at that point. So for her to be getting divorced, that means this man got to be unbearable. Man got to be unbearable. But that's the problem with a man who is of age, who is already arrogant and accomplished. He gonna be set in his ways. That's the same thing like the man who used to put women in their place, sit in the dark on that podcast with that thing spinning on the desk, and he'll be putting women in their place, and some women start to fall under his trance. Some women start to call that masculinity and manhood. They thought it meant something. They thought he was special. And I used to sit there and say to myself, because I see like 30-second clips. I never sat there and watched the man. I see 30 seconds. Probably the most I watch is a 2 or 3 minute clip on Instagram that somebody will send me. And I used to say to myself, if a woman get with this man, she gonna feel like she in hell on earth. Because a lot of times women can't read men the way men can read men. And I'm gonna tell you, that's really why men don't bother me. Like the celebrity men, they don't mess with me because they know how I move. So they're not gonna come around me because they assume that I'm gonna judge them. But the reason why they don't speak on me, and they don't say that I'm lying, and they don't say that I'm clout chasing, or that I'm capping, or that I'm doing what I do just for money, the reason why a respectable man don't come out and say that, because men know men. If a man sit and listen to me, he gonna be able to tell that I'm authentic and genuine in what I'm doing because of the amount of game that I'm giving. He gonna be able to tell. He gonna say, this man giving away too much game for him to be playing the game. This man giving away way too much game, and he too solid. He done been married over 16 years. You can't fake it for 16 years. As no man, your woman gonna leave you if you ain't doing something right. And so men know men. So see, that's what you have to understand too, is you have to, when you get ready to date somebody, you got to have you aboard. Especially when you getting ready to ride into the sunset, you going to your golden years, you got to have you aboard. So on that board, you got to have a situation where you got people that you know, love, and trust, that you gonna trust their word, because they're gonna see what you can't see. And if you ain't got nobody like that, then you come to me for a coaching session, and we're gonna talk all the way through this thing, and I'm gonna look at the pictures and the videos or whatever online or whatever you got, and I'm gonna give you a little assessment. I'm gonna tell you the truth. We're gonna go through the scenarios. We're gonna go through the conversations y'all have. We're gonna go through those interactions, and I'm gonna let you know what you got on your hands. Because somebody came to me the other day trying to make a man look bad, and we went through all the scenarios. I said, no, the man ain't the problem, you the problem. Because it ain't always, the other person ain't always the problem. Sometimes we the problem, we don't realize it. Hey, this Tony Gaskin. God bless you. We got a class today for the couples. And see, this is why I can't really do much for the couples, because when I do the same class for the singles, we have, 400, 500 people. When I do the class for the couples, we got 30 couples. So it's just not a lot of, the reason why it's not a lot of couples is because majority of what I'm talking about is to prepare singles for successful relationships, because that's more important, because you're going into marriage. Then when you already married, you know what you're doing. Yeah, you still got to learn and get some lessons, but you're already in it. The other reason why I'm not going to have a lot of couples is because it's going to be very few men that are okay with their woman being influenced by another man, being taught and talked to by another man. So a lot of men going to shut that down, even cool, calm, and collected, and in a seemingly healthy way, going to shut that down, which he gets the right, because the Bible say, wives, submit unto your husband as unto the Lord, and husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. So a woman, her man should be the one that she listening to and learning from and all of that, and I shouldn't have that influence and stuff in her life in a way that causes problems in her relationship. And so a man will assume it'll cause problems versus being accountability, and that's why he'll shut it down. But my barber here, God bless y'all. We'll talk soon.